Namaste, angels. This is the daily reading for the period of today, September 28th. Friday, September 28th should take us into and through the weekend. However, I may do a bonus daily that I'll perhaps release publicly tomorrow or for tomorrow in honor of Saints Michael, Raphael, and Gabriel. And maybe look at some of my Raphael cards, Michael cards. We'll see. For today, we're going to begin with the year 935, when another saint, Saint Wenceslas, is murdered by his brother Boleslas I of Bohemia. 1066, that was the year, 1066, which equals 1304, 1111. William the Conqueror invades England, landing at Pevensey Bay in Sussex. 1781, 9,000 American and 7,000 French troops begin the siege of Yorktown. 1887, Yellow River or Huang He floods in China, killing between 900,000 and 2 million people. It's one of the deadliest natural disasters in history. 1939, German-Soviet frontier treaty is signed by Joachim von Ribbentrop and Vyacheslav Molotov. It redraws the German and Soviet spheres of influence in Central Europe and transfers most of Lithuania to the USSR. Some of these things are hard to read sometimes because they use like no punctuation. I don't understand it. Anyway, did you know the first General Conference on weights and measures, CGMP, defines the length of a meter as the distance between two lines on a standard bar of an alloy of platinum with 10% iridium measured at the melting point of ice. Why? Why was all that necessary just to define length? Who knows? I don't know. I don't get it. But anyway, it occurred in the year 1889 on this day. Famous birthdays: Confucius, Alice Marble, and Hilary Duff. Would you believe Napoleon Bonaparte, at 16, graduates from the military academy in Paris? He is the 42nd in a class of 51. So he was pretty stupid, it seems. Anyway, this happened on this day in the year 1785. Or I guess it's relative. He was not one of the smartest in the class. I'll put it that way. Famous weddings: 1922, stage and film actor James Cagney, 23, weds dancer Frances Vernon. 1933, Sally Eilers weds Harry Joe Brown. 1933, actress Greer Garson, 29, weds her first husband, Edward Snelson, who is 29 as well. 1935, comedian Stan Laurel, 45, marries second wife, actress Virginia Ruth Rogers. And 1936, Marx Brother comedian Harpo Marx, 47, weds Million Dollar Legs actress Susan Fleming, 28. Famous divorces: 1937, Martha Ray, 21, divorces Hamilton Bud Westmore, 19, on the basis of extreme cruelty. And 2010, Oracle CEO Larry Ellison, 66, divorces romance novelist Melanie Kraft after 6 years of marriage. Famous deaths: Louis Pasteur, Ferdinand Marcos, Pierre Trudeau. Pierre Trudeau, full name was Joseph Philippe Pierre Yves Elliott Trudeau. He was the Prime Minister of Canada. As head of the Liberal Party, he was the Prime Minister of Canada twice, from 1968 through 79, and then again from 80 through 84. He was a charismatic leader, and he inspired the Trudeau mania that surrounded him in the 1960s. He was born on October 18th in 1919 in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. He was a Libra. He died on September 28th in the year 2000 at the age of 80 of Parkinson's disease and prostate cancer. Ferdinand Marcos was the 10th president of the Philippines. He's remembered for running a corrupt and undemocratic government as the 10th president of the Philippines from 1965 through 86. Marcos came to power in 65 and was elected to a second term in 1969. However, in the face of public unrest, he imposed martial law from 1972 through 1981. In 1983, his longtime political opponent, Ninoy Aquino, is assassinated and Marcos's government is implicated. The country ignites in protests. This eventually leads to a snap election in 1986, Marcos running against Corazon Aquino. The election is marred by widespread reports of violence and tampering with election results. The so-called People's Power Revolution gained strength, eventually forcing Marcos and his government to capitulate. Marcos is forced to flee Hawaii, where he dies in 1989. In the 2004 Global Transparency Report, Marcos appeared in the list of the world's most corrupt leaders. He was said to have amassed between $5 to $10 billion in his 21 years as president. His equally famous wife, Imelda Marcos, later returned to the Philippines and to politics. He was born on September 11th in 1917, which is 9/9. So he was born on 9/11, which is 11, in 1917, which is 9/9 or 9. Together, the whole birthday equals 11. In Surat, Ilocos Norte, Philippines. He was a Virgo. He died on September 28th in 1989 at the age of 72, which is also 9, of heart, lung, and kidney disease. And lastly, Louis Pasteur was French and a bacteriologist known for his discoveries of the principles of the vaccination, microbial fermentation, and food preparing processes known as pasteurization, named after him, basically. He was born in Dole, France, and was a Capricorn. He died on September 28th in 1895 at the age of 72 of a stroke. Going up to the birthdays, Hilary Duff is 31. She's an actress and a singer, established as a teen idol after being cast in the Disney Channel television series Lizzie McGuire in the early 2000s, and its motion picture, the Lizzie McGuire Movie, in 2003, in which she portrayed the titular character. She later appeared in feature films and numerous television dramas and comedies. After signing a recording contract with Hollywood Records, she released her debut studio album, which was also a Christmas album, Santa Claus Lane, in 2002. Her second album, Metamorphosis, in 2003, has been certified triple platinum by the Recording Industry Association of America, or RIAA, for exceeding shipments of 1 million copies. She was born on September 28th in 1987 and is 31 years old, from Houston, Texas, USA. She died on, oh God, she's not died. She did not die. I don't know where that came from, and I don't mean to jinx Hilary Duff. She is, and I wasn't looking at anything that said died. I was looking at the fact that she, in the Chinese zodiac, is a rabbit, and she's a Libra. So that was totally 100% random. Alice Marble was born on September 28th in 1913 in Beckworth, California, USA, a Libra, who died on December 13th in 1990 at the age of 77. She's famous for having been a tennis champion, world #1 American tennis player who won 18 Grand Slam championships from 1936 to 1940, and 5 in singles, 6 in women's doubles, and 7 in mixed doubles. Lastly, Confucius was Chinese and a philosopher, Chinese teacher, editor, politician, and philosopher whose philosophy emphasized personal and governmental morality, correctness of social relationships, justice, and sincerity. Confucius championed strong family, loyal ancestor worship, respect of elders by their children and husbands, and respect of, I guess is what they meant, husbands by their wives, and recommended piety as the basis of ideal government. He is thought to have died in the year 479 BC, which is 11, and probably right, at the age of 71 or 72. It's probably 72, right? 9. He was born on September 28th in 551, which was also 11 BC, of course, in Zhu, Lu State, China. He was a Libra. And he was the last of the birthdays for the day. Beginning with email. 29, so more 11. and massage. Woo! Maybe somebody is really supposed to email. Spirit says no for any yes or no question you are pondering. Stay in bed. And spend money. Beginning with Major Arcana card number 5, Unity in this deck, or the Hierophant in traditional tarot, which represents the sign of Taurus. The moon is actually in Taurus on this day too. It enters Gemini tomorrow for the Feast of St. Michael, the sword. How appropriate, right? Traditional viewpoints or methods, spiritual organizations, seek out mentors and like-minded friends. Opening to Major Arcana card 13, Release or Death in the traditional tarot. It's the end of a phase or situation. Spiritual transformation. Time to move on. Hierophant. And the Six of Water. Memories from your history or childhood. Issues regarding children. Romanticizing the past. Six of Water. And Major Arcana card, the World, number 21. A job well done, joy, contentment, and gratitude, and the path toward enlightenment. So it looks like some endings are coming. We see the World, we see death. Even the Hierophant can mean, again, like where a contract is completing or something. Six of Water. And the Nine of Water. Your wish comes true, concerns fade away, and you have a love of life. I also thought about how Pluto goes direct this weekend. So if this reading covers the weekend, that could be something else that's showing up with death. And even the Hierophant. I mean, the Hierophant represents the sign of Taurus, like I said, but it could represent other earth signs as well, including Capricorn, where Pluto is currently retrograde and will be facing direct on Sunday. In any case, we've come to the Nine of Water. Your wish comes true, concerns fade away, you have a love of life. This is a yes. As it relates to yes or no questions, particularly regarding love and relationships. It's things going your way. Stuff for which you've prayed, showing up. We do have to pay attention because this stuff often comes through other people or, you know, in ways that we hadn't planned, and we have to recognize that, you know, our prayers are being answered. Anyway, I've come to the Moon, Major Arcana card, the Moon, number 18 or more 9. Important psychic insights, events behind the scenes, release fears that hold you back. The Moon represents the sign of Pisces. And speaking of Pluto being retrograde in Capricorn, the overall energy is ego. Major Arcana card number 15, otherwise known as the Devil, which represents the sign of Capricorn. A false sense of entrapment, being overly focused on material things, negative or fear-based thoughts. Combining this with the dice, I'm going to say that if you presented with something that you need to pay for, that you're not to be worried about the money. Like, let's say you want to buy shoes. Buy shoes didn't come up today, but let's say you want to buy shoes. The shoes are $100. And you have it, but if you spend that $100, you're only going to have $100 left. You're supposed to get a check tomorrow, your paycheck or whatever, but you might not. So you're like wanting to wait. Spirit is saying don't wait. Don't be overly focused on the money. Not only spend money, but you need to move into a mindset that's not one of lack, that's one of abundance, and know that the universe sort of recompenses us, basically, right? And restores us and our finances too. Sirens outside. Crowning the masculine. It's funny because I was thinking about Venus too, when having seen death also, and Even the moon. I thought about Venus. You know, like, well, that is why? Because I'm weird like that, but there's a reason for it. Okay, so Venus, not this weekend, but in the very near future. So next week goes retrograde herself. All the other planets are coming out. She goes retrograde. Is it the 5th? Might be the 5th. And so where she's going retrograde is in Scorpio, which is ruled by Pluto, which goes direct this weekend, as I was saying. Her retrograde sort of bumps into Neptune, which is the ruler of Pisces. So when the moon showed up, these are the things that go through my head and how they go through my head and why. Venus is also the ruler of Taurus, where the moon is located today. So that's another reason. In addition to Taurus, this card also represents for me Libra and Gemini, because she is rulers of all three, to mention threes. Lavish abundance, give birth to your dreams, nurture yourself and others. This can have something to do with a party of three, too, by the way. It can actually be about abundance. It could be about the need for the masculine to do some nurturing to himself. Again, not being worried about restrictions like money and lack in other areas. When I picked it up, also up right behind it is the 7 of water, which means that there's like several options to a decision that perhaps he has to make. I mean, we might have to make one too, but right now I'm talking about him. A complex decision, the need to do research, stop procrastinating. And there's paranoia about it, okay? Because behind that, also upright, is the 9 of air, expecting the worst, self-fulfilling prophecies, sleepless nights. The next card is not upright. However, the decision may involve a Gemini, because the next card, although it was upside down, behind the 9 of air, is the Page of Air, who is logical, honest, impulsive, and curious. And again, ruled by Venus. Challenging information, delays or changes to plans, and truth delivered without tact. So let's say, to go with my example again, there could be a delay to money that he was expecting, or to some sort of abundance that he was expecting. And then that is causing concern that the universe wants him to make a decision regardless, having faith, and not be like falsely trapped by lack, or the perception of lack. It's like it's like lack that doesn't even really exist, because we need to think of ourselves as abundant already, because we are. And then that is how you manifest it in a more tangible way, like put it in my hand. The masculine is surrounded by, boom, see, Taurus, unity, the Hierophant, again, traditional viewpoints or methods, spiritual organizations, seek out mentors and like-minded friends. There could be also a commitment, a contract, a commitment coming to an end is a possibility too. Somebody doesn't have to be getting married or marrying something. They could be something or someone. They could be divorcing something or someone here on the masculine side. Feeling stuck in a situation maybe involving their mother or the mother of their child. Even siblings, because the Hierophant card can have to do with, with whom and what and where we surround ourselves, and the need to make some adjustments there, some changes, right? It's Major Arcana card 5, some changes. In Supreme Math, 5 is power refinement. And basically what that means, like to reduce it to its simplest definition, is that we have the power to refine, better, improve our own lives and situations. So when the 5 comes up, that is what you're supposed to do. Employ your power. Be empowered by the number 5, rather than look at it, again, as something of lack and mediocrity and melancholy and, you know, doubt and pessimism and all that stuff. From a more positive standpoint, it is empowerment for you to make changes, be the change you want to see, basically. I had this whole back and forth yesterday, speaking of that, with this guy on my page. He didn't know what he wanted to say or what point he was trying to make. I think he just liked hearing himself talk and using, you know, words like consciousness and spiritualism and whatnot. Because, like, for give an example, he was saying, all right, quick as example, he had said at one point that demons were men. No, demons couldn't be men. Couldn't be men, which is ridiculous to me. I don't know how other people feel about it, how you guys feel about it who are listening, but it was absolutely ridiculous to me. And I said, the same way we're having a discussion. Basically, the discussion was about light versus dark, and his trying to push an agenda of like there is no more dark, which is not true. So to me, it's miseducating people and misleading people, which is dangerous. That is dark, whether we tend to be some or not, whether it's malicious, comes from a malicious place or not. It is dark to spread that sort of thing. Where there's light, there's dark. That's everywhere. The universe itself, right? We have the dark, we have the light, the sun, the stars, right? One can't exist without the other until such time comes as it does not, which is what's been prophesized, right? But it hasn't happened yet. So anyway, we're back and forth, like the same things over and over. And whenever I would sort of rebut him on something that he said, then he would, you know, like he would change it. So anyway, just like the light and dark thing, he was like, you know, I use the same argument. Again, where there's light, there's dark. You know, where if you believe that men can be angels, then you have to believe men can be demons too. You know, we don't get the good without the bad. It's all about, again, how you approach the situation. And then you become the change you want to see. So that's what I'm feeling here for the masculine in general. And his subconscious, not unlike this Seven of Water that's sitting here under the Devil, indicates that he has a decision to make. Time to rest or take a vacation. Allow more time before making a decision. Meditation may provide answers. This, coupled with the Nine of Air, that's also upright behind the Seven of Water here, which is behind the Devil, also indicates that, yes, some of them need some sleep. And that maybe it's this thing that they're trying to decide upon. It's sort of like eating them up inside and causing them to be unable to sleep. That they have like really serious anxiety. And could easily involve, again, whether to enter or leave a commitment, romantic or otherwise, some sort of contract or commitment, whether to marry or divorce something or someone, quite possibly a Taurus, Gemini, Libra, Capricorn, involving those, one or more of those signs. Crowning the feminine. It's the Ace of Air, brilliant new ideas and inspirations. Seeing the truth of a situation, a challenging beginning. So this could definitely be, for example, like leaving, if it involves the feminine and the Ace of Air, leaving the Taurus and going for the Gemini or the Libra. And beginning anew with a Gemini or Libra female. or feminine energy. Surrounding the feminine, it is Major Arcana card Awakening, or the Hanged Man, another 3, right? Major Arcana card number 12, which represents the planet Neptune and the sign of Pisces yet again. Look at things from a different perspective, right? I'm just talking about changing your perspective, and look how it mirrors the Hierophant card, which caused me to stop and talk about that. Look at things from a different perspective. You're at a temporary standstill that's going to allow you to do that, right? It's like an air of suspension, limbo even. It's important to be yourself and like to be honest about the decisions you're making and decide, and you're figuring out what you want and stuff, like not getting out of this sort of Neptunian dreamland, which is basically what the same thing I said to the guy. If you saw the thread, or you do see it, I said, like, you know, that's get out of Neptune, basically. That's what's controlling those thoughts. Feminine subconscious. Very nice. It's the Ace of Water, falling in love, or the resurgence of a relationship, spiritual growth, and enhanced intuition, possibly even a new home. Very easily a relationship, again, between an air sign and a water sign, most specifically Scorpio, which I left out over here. I forgot, but that's how I had gotten to this. Remember I said Pluto, one of Scorpio's rulers, retrograde and going direct this weekend in Capricorn. Also a Pisces. So an air sign and a water sign. Of the water signs, Pisces and Scorpio most specifically. Of the air signs, Gemini and Libra most specifically. And again, it can also air sign, water sign, earth sign. Of the earth signs, most specifically Taurus and Capricorn involved in these situations. Crowning. It is another 3. The 3 of Fire, abundance. Things look very good. Have patience at this time and make long-term plans. The 3 of Fire sits here next to another 3, the Empress, and crossing another 3, the Hanged Man. It can very well be about abundance. This is a general reading. Can easily have to do with a party of 3. And then to take it a step further, a love triangle, particularly being the 3 of Fire, because the wands represented by the element of fire in the tarot are very phallic, or considered phallic. And on this card in particular, we have sort of a pair, and then one that looks like it clearly does not belong. It is not symmetric to the others. At the roots, Major Arcana card, the Star. Enter Aquarius. So now all 3 air signs, 100% on deck. Happy times. Make positive, optimistic, long-term plans. You are on the right path. I thought about this happening. I said, watch Aquarius show up in my head. Major Arcana card, the Star. Represents the sign of Aquarius, the planet Uranus. Okay, so let me cap this up. Taurus is currently located, or Uranus rather, Aquarius's ruler, is currently located in Taurus. So we have it here crossing the Hierophant, which is underneath the Empress. Both of these represent the sign of Taurus. Uranus in Taurus. Mars, the red planet, the other ruler of the sign of Scorpio, is currently located in Aquarius. This is how we bring them all together. The Star is about communication. One could be reaching out to the other. The decision that either has to make could be communicated to the appropriate parties it needs to be communicated to. Perhaps, you know, the other, the masculine and the feminine, needs to communicate something to one another, or somebody completely different and removed from that situation. The universe is also sending healing energy to help you to get to a relaxed place, a rested place where you can make a clear decision, masculine. Feminine, to help you to be honest with yourself about what your wants and desires are. And it looks like at least one of your wants and desires is that somebody return to you. Perhaps Ace of Water, very much about getting back together with, you know, friends and romantic partners, certainly. Reuniting. And it's here in the feminine, like, thought, subconscious. One can be, it's a better living situation in general, is what the feminine is wanting to. Whatever the new beginning is that she has in mind, it is doable. But it, you know, might not be easy. She might have to put some effort into it. And there could be continue to be bumps along the way, and she'll need to maintain her faith that everything's going to be fine. At the heart of the matter, boom. I told you, I felt something having to do with moving to a new place or a living situation. This is like my like hearth and home kind of card. Contentment, peace, and abundance. A happy home life and the successful completion of a project. Well, successful completion of a project can be, again, being honest with yourself and pursuing your wants and being patient and allowing them to come to fruition. That's one thing. These are things you prayed for, right? Wishes, things you dreamed of, with the star crossing the hangman. These are things you dreamed of finally coming true. Again, not necessarily easy, might require a little work, or maybe require you, involve you coming into some sort of knowledge, you know, truth about something, someplace, someone too. But it's a new beginning nonetheless. Yours for the taking if you have the faith. For the masculine, again, commitment, contractual something, maybe even marriage. Leaving a party of three situation. He's got to think on it first. He's got to think on it. He's going to sleep on it. Because he's just not sure of how to go about doing it. A little more about the Empress as to whether or not it's like representing abundance or perhaps a relationship or something, which for the most part, which I feel it is a relationship for the most part. Let's see what else can be said about the Empress. The Page of Fire, outgoing, creative, confident, and mischievous. News of an exciting new endeavor. Use your originality and ingenuity. So it's about pursuing one's passions, whether that's a thing, a place, maybe again, like a new living situation that, you know, an opportunity presents itself, or a relationship. Going for the one of whatever options you have, represented by the Seven of Cups, is going to truly make you happy and about what you are, you know, honestly passionate when you're honest with yourself. The Hangman for the feminine. The King of Fire. Motivational, idealistic, ambitious, and charismatic. Focus, focus, focus. Communicate with vision and be a leader. Take advice from someone creative. I think for a good bit of the feminine, this person you want to come back is the Divine Masculine. And that this King of Fire can easily represent the planet Mars, which again is currently located in Aquarius. And it's about action. This could be your energy directing you to take action, and you pursue your desire. You pursue your joy and happiness. It may take a little work. It may take facing some truths, being honest with yourself even. letting go of your pride and stuff. Facing a party of three situation. Let's look at that Ace of Air some more too. The Moon. Yeah, there's something that needs to come out. Some sort of information that you don't have. In some cases, kept from you by another person. In other cases, the universe. But the universe guides you to still make a decision and pursue what it is you want fearlessly, using your intuition and what logic is available to you at present in making these decisions, which can now again involve a Pisces. The Moon represents the sign of Pisces in the tarot. Important psychic insights, events behind the scenes, release fears that hold you back. So getting back to our overall energy, ego, or the devil, this is about being held back. This is about fear. This is about lack. This is about fear of lack. And we are both guided on both sides to let it go, to face this, to change our perspective, and to pursue those things that would make us happy. Any opportunities that come your way to do so on this day or over the weekend, you are guided to go for it, including actually spending money or making like real decisions. Like put your money, it could be like metaphorical, like or figurative, like put your money where your mouth is. Like if you really really go after what the true thing you believe. Don't just say it, like be about it. Action. That's what's coming up today. Further advice to the masculine, the King of Water. Trustworthy, compassionate, respected, and cultured. Open your heart and mind to those around you. Trustworthy and heartfelt advice can be coming your way, masculine. Also charity work, which is love. You could be exchanging love one way or the other, the recipient or the giver. The King of Water is a Scorpio, Pisces, or Cancer, or someone likened to those traits or attributes. And for the feminine, ooh, the Three of Air, great sadness. Take time to heal. There's a need to forgive yourself and others. Well, like I said, this can be tied to your need to be honest with you during this period where you're able to about your feelings. If they were hurt, and so that's keeping you limited and restricted, your goal on this day or this weekend is to let that go in pursuit of opportunities that were presented to you. Not to let this fear or hurt, pain, that's old, is what I'm feeling, hold you back. Don't allow it to be your prison. Instead, you are guided again to take action fearlessly. And that's why this new beginning did maybe take a little out of you to get here, right? The path toward it, to this new beginning, was not easy if it involved this. However, it is a new beginning nonetheless. And though it may continue to be a little bit bumpy until you really get your footing, it's a new beginning nonetheless. So it's up to you what your perspective is going to be and whether or not you're going to put yourself and your joy, your happiness ahead of your fear. That's what it's about. What else might this Three of Air be connected though, or to what may it be most directly connected? However, yeah, conflicted. You either yourself being conflicted, inner turmoil as to whether or not to face your fears, the fear of taking action, because this Five of Fire represents Mars for me a lot. You guys know that. And taking the need to take action, as we saw already. Or problems, difficulties, dramas with close friends and or family, which could be a third party on your side. and something you need to face and you know, walk away from and let go. That could be 2. I was getting something for a second about the 5. Well, I talked about power refinement, and I think that that's what the 5s are connected to most for this day. So is, like I said about the masculine, it is in your hands, it is in your power to change your situation and to make it be the positive one that this spread can be, or to keep yourself locked away and imprisoned. It's sort of up to us this weekend. And what are you going to do? That's the decision. That's the big decision. And the question, what are you going to do? God said spend money. So again, put your money where your mouth is, take action, whatever that means for you, whatever the opportunity that arises is. All right. I hope that you guys enjoy the daily. Namaste.